What's going on, everybody? I've been granted temporary access to Sorcerer Supreme this time around through the Content Creator Program for the purposes of making a little video explaining her abilities and then sharing my overall first thoughts and impressions about the champion. So right off the bat, we have a pre-fight ability here that allows you to activate whatever blessing you want at the start of the fight. She has 3 blessings. It's very similar to how Doctor Strange works, where they just rotate automatically throughout the fight. You're going to see, if you look at the leftmost icon on her buff bar, it looks like a passive fury effect, and that is the attack blessing, I like to call it, where it just increases your attack and crit damage rating. Then we have the defensive blessing, which increases your armor, along with giving you some perfect block chance. And then we go into a Power Steal blessing that allows all of Sorcerer Supreme's attacks to steal just a little bit of the opponent's power, which is nice for 2 reasons. One, it allows you to get your specials a little bit faster because she just has that natural slow power gain, very similar to Doctor Strange again. And then it's also very important because you can use your specials to steal the opponent's power and kind of get you out of a jam. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about later on in this video. Let's talk about what makes Sorcerer Supreme unique, though, because so far she looks a lot just like a female Doctor Strange, but it's her rune system that really makes her own champion. So she has 3 different rune types, and you can see they're even color-coded to match the blessings that you have, because the blessings, that's how you actually gain these rune types. You gain runes by activating specials with the appropriate blessing active. So, of course, the armor break icon, you get that from your attack blessing. The healing icon, you get that from your defensive blessing. And then the slow icon, the slow rune, you get that from the power gain icon. And all of these, effects, it just gives you the ability to really control the fight. If you think about it, you have a slow debuff there that you can apply to the opponent that will, prevent them from going unstoppable and prevent them from evading, which is really useful to have on a champion that doesn't actually make contact with the opponent. These are energy-based attacks, or you could just kind of stand back and let your power gain naturally. So I could see that ability being pretty useful. And she has some healing to help recover throughout the fight. You even, if you have the heal active, then while blocking, you'll actually heal up some of the incoming block damage. And then in order to increase your damage, because she's not the hardest hitting champion out there, her stats are only about average, then you have these armor breaks. And the armor breaks, they're pretty serious armor breaks, man. They actually reduce the opponent's armor by 2,000 each. And at a rank 5, it'll be 2,100 armor reduction each. And you're going to see in the next fight, after we get out of this generic Act 6, Chapter 3 fight, I'm going to move on to Labyrinth of Legends, where I could really stack up those armor breaks. Because her special 2 will actually pause the timer on each one of these. You can see they're paused right now. And the third armor break was just kind of hanging on by a thread, and eventually it does drop off as I take a few hits there, but you can stack up all of the blessings by activating your special 2. So she might seem kind of complicated, but it's actually pretty simple in practice. You gain the runes from activating your special with the appropriate blessing up, and then to consume the runes, to gain the benefits from these runes, all you have to do is activate a special, and no matter what blessing you're in, it tries to use 1 rune from each type. And of course, if you don't have a rune of that type, then it's not going to activate anything, but it will try to do that. Nice little quality of life change too to Sorcerer Supreme is that using your heavy attack will automatically rotate the blessing if you just want it to be in a different blessing type. And I didn't find that to be super useful, but there is one situation I'm going to point out later where, yeah, it's a lifesaver actually. So it's really nice that she has that, just, that ability is just kind of in her back pocket when needed. So again, this was Act 6, Chapter 3. She's a rank 3 5-star champion, 162 hits. It's not the worst, but it's also not the best. So for a lot of fights, you probably are going to use some heavier hitting champions to get through the easy fights at least, if you don't need to use her utility that she has. But alright, now we're moving on to Old Man Logan and Labyrinth of Legends, and here we're just going to have some fun, man. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to stack up certain blessings on the champion. Because that first fight, I had no synergies, and even though I'm running maxed out Mystic Dispersion, Mystic Dispersion against Vulture doesn't really do a whole lot. But against Old Man Logan, it's going to do a lot. So let's talk a little bit more about her rune system. So the first time you activate a special 3 in the fight, you're going to gain a permanent rune of, you know, whatever blessing you chose, whatever blessing you had active when popping that special 3. So because I had the attack blessing active, I now have a permanent armor break rune. So no matter what special I throw throughout the remainder of the fight, I'm always going to be breaking Old Man Logan's armor. So from here on out, I actually don't even care what blessing I have. I'm just going to be spamming specials. So you're gonna see in a little bit here just how kind of nutty you can get with the aid of Mystic Dispersion, just allowing you to throw these specials back to back to back. You can tell her damage output is already starting to go up pretty significantly as we get that third armor break going on the opponent. I'm actually going to pop a special 1, which it also applies the rune effects, but it doesn't pause them the same way that the special 2 will pause them. The special 1 just has that nullification aura, which can sometimes be helpful, but for the most part, I stick to the special 2s here. And again, check out this damage, man, as we're really starting to stack up the armor breaks. She doesn't have the highest crit chance, but it's also not bad. I think it's about 27% or so before any kind of masteries or synergies or anything like that. And you know, it'd be nice if she had a different way to increase her damage output other than the attack blessing, but it would also make her pretty overpowered, so I understand why she doesn't have that. Now, Old Man Logan, he was actually pretty close to a special 3 before I activated my special 3. The reason that this is okay, though, is because I went into the power stealing blessing. And when you're activating your specials, you do steal a little bit of the opponent's power, making that a safe thing to do. So imagine a situation where you're getting backed up against the wall, and you're trying to bait out their special, and they're just not throwing it. Well, you can fight back due to that blessing that steals a little bit of the opponent's power. So I don't consider her to be a power steal champion, but it is a form of power control. You know, that really is the whole deal with Sorcerer Supreme, is that she controls the fight in several different ways. Again, with the slow debuff, preventing the opponent from going unstoppable or evading, from having that heal that will also not just heal you over time, but also recovers 75% of the damage that you take when you're blocking, and being able to, you know, deal decent damage with your armor breaks, while also just being able to kind of keep yourself out of the corner due to how her power steal works. So yeah, just the kind of an ultimate control type of champion. So I'm going to skip ahead throughout this Old Man Logan fight. This is only a rank 3 5-star, so I don't even have the attack to make the extended range timer, so eventually he does enrage on me, and he hits me with the special 3. I survive it because I have the defensive blessing up, but the bleed does finish me off. She does not have any immunities at all. She has some energy resistance, but no actual immunities to bleed, poison, anything like that. So not a very suicide-friendly champion. And yeah, this was the team I was using. Got a few synergies affecting her. The Mr. Fantastic synergy gives her a little bit of power back on specials. The Doctor Strange synergy gives her a little bit of increased damage on specials. It gives you a little bit of a prowess buff, and then 10% attack from Nick Fury. All right, here are the runes, though. Each rune has a different effect. The negative 2,000 armor for the armor break, the healing and recovering block damage from the defensive rune, and then the slow debuff rune, which does not affect opponents with a natural class advantage. So something to keep in mind. Slow will not work against science champions. Her Awaken ability is not necessary. It just increases the potency of blessings and then increases her ability accuracy, which in most fights I don't think matters. But, you know, it's nice. It's a nice bonus to have. Let's talk a little bit more about the kind of power control aspect to the champion, because again, she's not the type of champion that's going to just really lock the opponent down and fully drain them the way that someone like Magic could or OG Vision. But no matter what special you activate while you have that blessing up, you are going to steal some of their power. So again, imagine I was getting backed up against the wall. opponent wouldn't throw their special. It happens sometimes, right? Passive AI is one of the most annoying things in this game. But you can fight out of the corner, you can pop your special 3, throw the opponent to the right side of the map, and they don't have their special 3. You can even continue fighting and attacking and using your other specials while you have that Power Steal Blessing active, and it will keep the opponent from getting a special 3, allowing you some more time to, just get yourself in a good position in the fight. And maybe you're thinking like, oh, but you have to be in the right blessing. And isn't that annoying? What if you're not in the appropriate blessing? Well, they rotate fairly quickly. And then again, you can force that rotation by doing a heavy attack. So, 2/3 of the time, you're always in the right blessing pretty much. Because you're either in the Power Steal blessing already, or if you're in the blessing before it, the defensive one, you can just use a heavy attack to force that switch. So, for the most part, you have pretty good control over that ability to keep yourself out of harm's way in the corner, due to that Power Steal blessing and being able to force yourself into that blessing. So, pretty cool champion overall. I really enjoyed the control aspect that you have over the fight. It really felt like, that you were leading the way. Doing the dance on the map, as I sometimes call it. You were definitely leading that dance. And yeah, I enjoyed playing the champion overall. Now, here were the masteries that I was using for all the fights in this video. I did not use the suicide masteries at all, and of course with Despair, you could, because of all the debuffs, you could lock an opponent's healing down if you need a little bit of extra control there. But I was running maxed out Mystic Dispersion, which you saw a pretty big difference, right? The first fight against Vulture, where it had hardly no effect, and the fight was definitely slow, even though it is a rank 3 5-star. Even at rank 5, it's going to be slower than the average champion that players have at rank 5, the average heavy hitting champion, I should say at least. But it was not terrible at the same time, but you could also see in that Old Man Logan fight. I mean, I did a 50k special 3. I capped out the damage inside of Labyrinth of Legends with a rank 3 champion, So She's got some decent damage potential when needed, but I do consider her to be more of a control champion. Once again, can't say it enough. That is her thing. She just controls the fight. So most fights, you probably don't need that level of control. So for most fights, you're probably going to be using other champions. She's going to be one of those champions that I think is nice to have in your roster for the times that you need to use someone like Sorcerer Supreme. But for most fights, you're not going to be using her. But she absolutely has a place in this game with that natural power gain and the fact that you don't ever even need to make contact with the opponent to get a slow debuff on them. That's huge. If you think about something like fighting opponents that have evade, for example, and sometimes you have to do certain actions to gain your True Strike against them. And before you could even get True Strike activated, they evade your attacks. And it's so annoying, and you just die before you can ever stop their evade. With Sorcerer Supreme, as long as you can stall the fight, you can eventually pop a special. Even if they're stun immune, you can get to a special 3, pop that special, put the slow debuff on them, and then you have a way to fight against that evasion. Now, the one big downside to that is that a lot of the evading champions just so happen to be science. We've got OG Spider-Man or Spider-Gwen, forgot her name for a second there. These champions you're not going to be able to use slow against because they have that natural class advantage against you. But, there's plenty of other champions that slow will work against to stop their evade or prevent them from going unstoppable. So yeah, really cool champion overall. Definitely enjoyed my time playing her. It's kind of hard to recommend if people are thinking about going for her in the arena or popping cav crystals. A little bit hard to recommend on this one because you may already have champions that can fulfill similar roles like a Sim Supreme. They work pretty similarly. Hard to say which one is better. I think they're I think they both have their pros and cons, and in some situations, one is going to be better than the other. And yeah, they're just kind of similar champions. So if you already have someone that fits those needs, hard to say if you should go for it. It's gonna have to be something that that you choose to do. But I can tell you this: I did enjoy playing the champion, and yeah, I sure wish I had her on my permanent roster. I think I would rank her up, even if I don't end up using her a ton. Just having that control that I can turn to at any time. I think she'd be good for my itemless runs with that healing that she has and all that. So possibly useful in the incursions as well, since you're applying lots of non-damaging debuffs and have that heal and everything. So I don't know. I might actually go for it. It's been a while since I've done a featured grind. Maybe I'll see what she goes for on round 1 and decide from there. But yeah, that's my kind of overall thoughts and impressions about the champion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.